I should just mention that these flowers, and they are beautiful, and also the flowers back here, are a gift from my dad's brother and sister. And so they're not here today, but they wanted to contribute in that way. It is traditional to give words of advice. In your absence last night around the dinner table, my nieces and nephews, most of them are present, and Sarah, there was some discussion about, we don't know for sure, but maybe between the two of you, about 100 years worth of marriage experience. So, but I'll say a few things. First of all, to you. Dad, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. Proverbs 18:22. And I have certainly observed that Ardith has added to your happiness over the last several months. And so after getting over the initial shock, I have made that observation. Ardith, it has been reported to me recently by someone in the church who I will not name that you have been, this is the quote, glowing of late. So my words to you are two. Number one, welcome to the family. And number two, he's your problem now. Maybe you can help him figure out his smartphone. I have failed completely, and we've had numerous lessons. All right, on a more serious note, let me remind you that marriage vows are sacred. And this might be a short service, but it has the heart of it. It's here. Because the heart of it really is the giving and receiving of marriage vows, of binding covenant promises that are made before God and witnesses. And there's a lot of witnesses here in the room today. So vows are at the very heart of the marriage ceremony. And so are you ready to exchange your vows? All right. So Alan, repeat after me. I, Alan, take you, Ardith, to be my wedded wife. And I do promise and covenant before God and these witnesses to be your loving and faithful husband, in plenty and in want, in joy and in sorrow, in sickness and in health, as long as we both shall live. And Ardith, if you would repeat after me. I, Ardith, take you, Alan, to be my wedded husband. And I do promise and covenant before God and these witnesses to be your loving and faithful wife, in plenty and in want, in joy and in sorrow, in sickness and in health, as long as we both shall live. As a token of this covenant, you will now give and receive marriage rings. So you have a ring? You have a ring. I'm glad you've got a ring. So Dad, if you'd place it on her finger and repeat after me. This ring I give thee in token and pledge of our constant faith and abiding love. And Ardith, do you have a ring? Usually you have a bride's. I hope in all sorts of stuff. Part of the reason I hope in all sorts of stuff is because I am so frail. Have you noticed the wound on the top of my head? It's mostly healed now. Man, this really was awful earlier in the week.
Now my wife has a wound on her toe. And so people all week were asking me, how did you get this wound on your head? And here is my story. I was telling people that my wife hit me with a skillet. And while I was going down, I reached in my pocket, pulled out my pocket knife, and got her in the toe. That's not true. I won't tell you I hit my head, but man, I hit my head. I didn't see something, and I should have seen it. I'm frail. My wife yesterday went to Portland. She trusted in that vehicle to get her there. Right now, you're trusting in those blue chairs to hold you up. You're trusting perhaps in your job. You're trusting in various relationships, hoping that that person doesn't let you down. You're trusting in your bank account. You're trusting in your 401k or your IRA, your retirement accounts. And so long as that's all in balance, there's nothing wrong with that. Because we are dependent people. All of this reminds us of our dependent